All right, here we go. My name's Jeff K., and you're listening to episode 300 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
Good boy, my ass.
And we're back broadcasting once again from deep underneath a nondescript home in suburban Pennsylvania. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for streaming. All that jazz. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me how you go about listening, just as long as you listen. That's the important part, right? Not too concerned about the delivery method. I just appreciate you going to whatever effort you have to go to listen to these episodes. This is a big one, 300. Number 300. So producer Zipp said, why don't you do something special with this one? Instead of just doing the normal episode, why don't you bring on some guests? And I don't know about that. It's not really, I have my comfort zone. And my comfort zone, of course, is to sit down here in the bunker with my eyes closed and monologue about my latest trip to Sheetz, or perhaps Target, bitch and, air my grievances, the stuff that's bugging me. That's where I like to live. He goes, no. You should try something different. Do something different for this episode to commemorate the 300th episode. And I'm like, okay, I guess I was persuaded, or, I don't want to go so far as to say bullied. That's open to interpretation, but I agreed. So I invited my good friend Eugene B. Sims, host of the Wheeler's Dog podcast, and a former co-worker at the late great Peaches Records and Tapes in Greensboro, and he agreed to come on, and also Zipp, and producer Zipp, co-host of No Redeeming Qualities podcast. So the three of us jumped on a Zoom call today, and we, powered through some various subjects, and I think it was pretty funny. It went pretty well, I think. We recorded a lot of material. We were on there for a long time, which is a pretty good sign that we're having a good time. So it'll be interesting to see how Zipp edits this thing down, because there's enough material for about like 3 episodes. We'll see how it goes. But so without any further delay, I'm just going to jump right into it. So this is me, Eugene, and Zipp today on a Zoom call, just bullshitting, basically. That's what it is. It's just the three of us just bullshitting. It's kind of funny. I think you'll enjoy it. So here it is.
Hello, world.
Have we already started, Jeff?
No.
We haven't started yet.
We can if you want to.
Okay. I think you should just start now. Yeah, I think it just sometimes, if you wait for the perfect moment to start, you're just going to keep waiting.
Okay.
Did I tell you I did CPR on a sax man last week?
A what?
On a sax man. There's a guy who plays the saxophone in the grocery store parking lot near my house, and I was in line at Taco Bell, and he had a seizure in front of me, and then he quit breathing, and I did chest compressions on him, and he came back. And I drove by today. He was out there playing again. I'm like, dude, you gotta yes, he was. Yes, I was like, dude, I didn't even know if he was, because they took him away in an ambulance, and I was like, I didn't even know he was fucking alive or not. And he's out there. I'm like, you gotta take a break from this blowing intensive activity.
Let me ask you a question.
Maybe he doesn't have health care.
I didn't put mouth to mouth on him. No,
I wanted to ask, did you do mouth to mouth through the horn? Through the horn itself.
That's it was imagining the last dang breaths through a saxophone.
Yeah.
No, but I was in line at Taco Bell, and so I just left my car in the drive-thru and ran because I thought the guy I didn't know what was happening, And I'm doing the chest compressions, and this other woman runs up, and she hops in, and And so we take turns doing it, and he comes back. Well, as I leave, I realized I was like,
was she going, staying alive?
I tried. And they tell you whenever you do a CPR class that you're always going to do it too fast, and you do. Like it's so hard to do it as slow as they tell you to do it. But I realized as I was leaving, I didn't get my tacos, because the whole thing was a huge ordeal. There was cops there and all kinds of shit. And so I went in and got the big bag of Taco Bell. And as I was walking out, they moved my car for me, and it was next to the other woman. And she was in between her car and my car, like bawling her eyes out and crying. And I had to be like, hey, can you get out of the way? I've got my bag of tacos. And I was looking to go home. I was like, what's oh, you're still on that,
Man.
But no, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I was a little peeved seeing them out there playing again. I was like, you need to be resting. This is
really
like,
so when you're in line at the Taco Bell and you hear him play on Baker Street or whatever they play, saxophone, and then he goes into like a freeform jazz, like off
that's
on
when you know,
it's like some kind of Coltrane thing. Something's wrong. That's when you know he's having a seizure.
Yeah, he.
And then you have to go in there and blow through the horn. All right, I've got on the show today. I have two guests, which is rare for me. I don't do this often, but I have producer Zipp, co-host of the No Redeeming Qualities podcast. Welcome. Thank you for doing this, Zipp.
Thank you.
Thanks for forcing me into this, pushing me into this.
300 episodes, that's not, especially at your age podcasting. This is like 900 episodes. This age is like, picking up the hobby at an advanced age. I think 300 episodes of podcasting for anybody is an accomplishment, especially.
I agree with that. And your 300, we'll get into that, but your 300 is going to be your last one, right?
250 actually. Yep. 250. Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay. All right. And also, my old friend from Peaches Records and Tapes, the late great Peaches Records and Tapes, Eugene B. Sims, host of the Wheeler's Dog podcast. Welcome, Eugene.
Thank you. It's great being here. I'm sorry I've held things up for about 45 minutes now. I apologize. I was exercising my old man trying to figure out my first Zoom call. So,
well, we actually have tons of content from just me and Jeff talking while you were doing that. So I don't know. Maybe I'll find some way to like make a Patreon episode of just that for after this. That'll be 301. You could take the weekend off.
I didn't realize this was 300. This is quite an honor to be on 300.
Yeah, that's why. Because he was like, "Well, should we do?" I was like, "Yeah, we should do something." And I was like, "Well, I've just been on the show before." I was like, "Let's have." I wanted Ian on as well, but with him being in Scotland. That's and also I don't know. I had zero idea what level of interest he would have in even doing that.
True.
Well, he'd have to come with not zip title, but subtitles for me. Sometimes I have problems understanding what he's saying on his calls, and I have to listen to it a couple of times. No offense. I mean, no offense.
No, he is difficult to understand, but he's one of the more easily understood Scotsman.
Oh my God, is he?
There's a guy there. There was a show called Catastrophe. You ever heard of this? It was on HBO. There was a Scottish person on there, a character. I couldn't understand a single word he said through the entire series. Seriously, I couldn't. It's like, is he speaking English? I don't know.
They're the. It's not really the Scottish people, but it's the British people have. With the World Cup going on, they get like super indignant about not calling it football. So I wonder if Ian is one of the. Oh, I'm sorry, he's Scottish, not British. Well, aren't Scots British, but not all British people are Scottish or something like that. I might have just offended him so bad that he would kill me if we were in person. Yeah, right. In college, I once mistakenly called an Irish person a British person, not trying to insult him, and it almost started an actual fist fight. And I was like, "Dog, you are all white people that talk the same way. I'm sorry." Like,
I think it depends on their mood.
Yeah.
Well, he was Irish, so it was always bad,
So anyway, we just got past this Thanksgiving deal, and I'll tell you a little story about this broccoli rice casserole that wanted to recreate that my mother always made throughout the years. For some reason, I got it in my head. I wanted to try it out, to try to recreate it here in my kitchen, you know. So I called her and I said, can you send me the recipe? And she said, how would I do that? Through the mail? I said, well, can you take a picture I said, do you have it on a card or something? She said, yeah. And I said, can you take a picture?
She's going to send you a telegram through Western Union.
I said, can you take a picture of it with your phone and send it to me? And she said, oh, we'll try to figure that out. I don't know. They're down in Florida, in the old folks community down there. So I think they got some kind of Manhattan project together, and they all got together and tried to figure out how to send a picture to me through text. So then a little while later, she called me and she goes, did you get it? I said, no, I didn't get anything. She goes, oh, all right, we'll try again. So she got off the phone, finally got the thing. And we went out and bought all the ingredients, which there's a lot of ingredients. And it was Thanksgiving, and I was all prepped to do this cooking of this casserole. And there was one item that we forgot to purchase, and all the stores were closed, so I had to scrap it. But then yesterday,
what'd you forget to buy?
Broccoli,
cream of chicken soup, cream of chicken. So then yesterday, we went out. I did it yesterday. It took hours. I mean, there was so much work, and Gordon Ramsay, when he does those beef Wellingtons, I don't think there's as much work involved in that as this thing. Turned out fantastic, though, I have to say. So
I'm imagining you with a little chef's hat in a completely you just fucked your kitchen, just completely destroyed it.
I was drinking heavily during the whole thing, also bitching a lot, you know. But I got it done. It was good. So I'm pretty proud of that.
I actually had a recipe that I got out of from my mom's old stuff, and one of the ingredients, it just said add the leaves, but there was no ingredient prior to that. There was nothing prior to that was like the leaves, and so the only thing I could think of was like bay leaves, but it did not match. It was like a quiche, you know, so it was like it did not go with that. I ended up actually taking a picture of it and sending it to like a friend of mine who went to culinary school. Like, here's the recipe. Like, what was she talking about? And he was like, we have no idea. So it's like, it's this mystery where it's like, I don't know what leaves she was adding into this quiche, but So what is your least favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Jeff, I don't like cranberry sauce at all. I don't like that. I don't like sweet potato casserole or any of that. I don't like green. What's that green bean casserole with the little onion things on top?
Oh, okay.
I don't like that either.
Well, cranberry. What is it? Sauce or jam?
I think they call it sauce, but I don't.
It
comes out of the can and it's like shaped like
it's inversive. It's an inverse. The more work you put into cranberry sauce, the shittier it tastes. If it's got to come on the plate still in the shape of the can for it to taste good.
Consider it a gel.
It's a gel.
Yeah.
Not even a jelly. Like,
it's disgusting.
Yeah, I think it's because a jelly can't sustain its own shape. But a gel can.
What about you guys? What's your least favorite?
Well, olives, but that's just a thing in my family. They eat olives at every fucking meal, so I forget that's not really a Thanksgiving thing.
Hold on, I need clarification.
I'm sorry.
Olives? Why is olives
my mom's side of the I don't like them very much, but my family will just at every Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, hey, it's somebody's birthday, they have whole bowls of just entire olives and they just eat them whole. Like everybody in the family is infatuated with olives except for me. No.
Yeah. I guess maybe you should take salt pills.
I like them. I like them on a pizza, but then again, you could blend pretty much anything onto a pizza, and I'm not gonna mind. But when it comes to the actual Thanksgiving thing, I think I'm gonna throw a wild card here. The turkey itself. I think the turkey itself is probably my least favorite part of.
Well, I've noticed here recently with some of the morning shows, some broadcast friends of mine, they're talking like trying to get turkey off the menu for Thanksgiving. I don't quite get it. I don't know if it's just some sort of rib they're pulling or what the deal is, but they're adamantly become against turkey. Well, personally, I like the turkey and the mashed potatoes, and that's it. I'm like Jeff K. I don't like that green bean casserole shit.
No, I mean, no vegetables. Just
yeah. If you're gonna have vegetables, maybe broccoli.
Yeah. My mom
green beans.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What do you think about olives, Eugene?
Oh, I could eat the hell out of olives. Green olives. I'm not much into the black olives.
With speaking of Cracker Barrel, I know you love Cracker Barrel, Jeff. Did I ever tell you about my stepdad was so anti Cracker Barrel that we were at a family reunion and went somewhere, and then afterwards everybody's like, let's eat a Cracker Barrel. I agree with my stepdad. I don't particularly care much for it. I'm sorry. I just think it's
going on?
It's kind of bland. I'm sorry. But anyway, my stepdad sat out in the car and just didn't eat lunch. And we were sitting all out around the car, come on, get out of the damn car. Are you we know you're hungry. You just you have, and he was a man of principles.
Yeah. What was his beef, really?
I don't even know. He never even said. He never even would tell us. I genuinely am baffled because it's also not. It's not the spiciest of food, so I don't believe it's a dietary thing. It seemed like he had some kind of, and he ate at restaurants, so it wasn't an anti-restaurant thing. It seemed as if he had some kind of past trauma involving Cracker Barrel that was too emotional for him to even address. That he had to sit out. He couldn't even pretend to walk around the gift shop area and play the little triangle game.
I don't know. Maybe a crate of Zagnets fell on him or something.
Maybe I always,
giant 4-footers.
I have seen in the late. But I have seen them. They have the tools and stuff hanging up there. There's some of them are just a straight up axe, and I'm like that. You with the blade pointed down. I'm like that will be the day that one half of the cord breaks and it just swings axe down right to the side of my head. But
slices
anyway,
somebody's arm. Yeah.
No, Cracker Barrel is very underwhelming. I mean, it's it made my grandma happy, so we went there. But yeah, I like.
So you don't like turkey? You don't like Cracker Barrel?
Yeah.
Well, since the Barrel got rid of chicken livers, I don't go anymore. They're no
they just
longer
don't sell them. How did
they?
What did they sell them? Fried?
Yeah, they were fried. My wife and I would go up there all the time to eat them, and now nothing. So, they're off my list.
Kids
you like chicken
days,
livers?
They don't want to eat liver.
Yeah.
Huh. Eating a liver is like eating a Brita filter, like the filter of a Brita filter. It's the point of the liver is to now. And I eat some nasty stuff too. I'm not judging, but that's always what I can't get out of my head is that the whole point of this liver is to process horse shit out of your body, and then you're going to eat it.
Well, I got to tell you something, Jeff K. This is going back to Peach's days. Jeff K has really zapped some zingers in on me before. When he found out I like chicken livers, I think he and I used to go to this place, Po Folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get iced tea.
Fond memory.
Yeah. And so I would get chicken livers, fried chicken livers. And he was like, I wouldn't be surprised if you found the end of a spark plug in one of those things. I use that joke to this day.
Well, I've made fun of some of Jeff K, Jeff K's fascination with hot bologna.
Yeah.
Which I actually went and got one. I actually went and tried one because of you. It was good. I'm not gonna
Where did you get this?
in Texas where I lived. So it was
Okay.
not an authentic West Virginia hot bologna sandwich, but it was indeed a bologna sandwich.
Good, thick cut.
Yeah, it was
bologna?
good. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I've also just bought bologna at the store and eaten it, 'cause I don't have any self-respect, any dignity. None.
I
But
forgot
you're not
about
talking about
Fofos.
the fried, are you? Fried bologna? What do you mean exactly by hot bologna?
It's a thick slice of bologna. It's thicker than anything you've ever
It's
seen.
yeah, it's very thick. It's like a hamburger patty.
And use you could heat it up in a barbecue sauce, but people
Mhm.
have their own recipes, and sometimes they're actually like real spicy.
And the one I had was just between two pieces of toasted bread with the sauce and the meat. There wasn't really too much more. There might have been like a mustard on it or something, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. But so like, what else is what is the West Virginia cuisine? Like, if I was going to go and get a taste of the West Virginia appetite, is it a possum?
Oh, here we go.
I know. He gets
Here we go.
he gets
Maybe
so
a
mad about it.
groundhog?
Yeah.
Eugene has some West Virginia roots too.
Yeah, I'm from that state.
I knew a guy when I was in the reserves. I went to training with a guy from West Virginia, and he talked like the most stereotypical West Virginian. He had a pet turkey, and his dad was a coal miner. And I was like, "Yeah, you are the stereotype." I would tell him that I would refer to his hometown as a village and say that they would scream at airplanes when they flew over. Was that you or Ian that was talking about you got drunk and yelled at a bunch of birds flying over your house because they weren't?
No, that was
Their
me.
V was that was. I still laugh about that anytime I see the birds flying and their V is not even.
They're asymmetrical. I don't like that.
Yeah, who decides to be? Is it just whatever bird is like, we're leaving, and he's like first, or is there always a designated point bird?
Yeah, I think that guy needs to tighten it up. The guy in front, because one side's always longer than the other. It bugs me. But I do like to hear the ducks. What are they? Geese? What are they?
Usually those are geese, probably.
I do like to hear those things because it usually signals the end of summer. You hear them going over the house. It's a good sound.
You live in a place with like a shitty winter. So
yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, but you hate summer. You hate heat.
I don't like summer either. I like spring and fall. We don't have central air up here. Nobody has central air.
This is the first time in my life I've ever not had central air.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, it's not too bad. Not bad at all, actually. Oh yeah, Eugene, I just moved up to the Seattle area from the Houston area, so it's culturally a big change. People are way nicer up here.
Is it as wet as people?
Oh, it's very wet. Yes.
No, I'd probably love it.
In the thing, I've only been here about 6 weeks, but it's been like constant rain. But it's not like heavy rain. It's just like a constant presence of rain. So it's not too bad because like where I was from in Texas during the rainy season, when it rained, it was like it would push, the road off, because it would just be this like tight. It would be like a monsoon of rain. And so I kind of grew up hating rain because it always made everything terrible. So
it's not all supposed to come down in like during 2 weeks.
Well, I was in Hurricane Harvey.
Year.
I was trapped in the city during Hurricane Harvey. So I developed a bit of a fear of floodwaters from that. So
yeah, when I moved to California, they were always talking about you haven't seen rain like you've seen it out here, and I'm like, I bet
in California,
yeah,
in California,
like, I bet I have, Dick.
I spent like 9 months in San Diego, and I think it rained 3 times.
Well, they were like, they do have a rainy season, and then it causes the mountains to slide over the highways and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but,
like mudslides that's a terrifying natural disaster. Like that's
you'll be riding down the interstate and there's a house sitting in the middle of the
no
highway.
Well, I anytime you go up in like the mountains, I always laugh because It's the Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas. They have signs everywhere being like falling rocks, look out, like boulders fall off. And I'm like, why do you even have the sign? I mean, it's going to hit me. Like, I'm not going to dodge it. I'm not going to, it's like, and it's on the walking path. So it's not like you're in a place you're not supposed to be. I don't know. But anyway, in Buffalo, they had last week the thunder snow, if you were familiar with that, Jeff. Or Eugene. Had you ever heard of that before?
Yep.
Okay, so you see snow virgin here. I was unaware of that snow pattern. And it was like a snowstorm that also created lightning.
That's when we gather with the neighbors and we pray and we sacrifice animals
to survive or to cause it.
Well, to survive. To hope that the thunder angel of death just passed over us.
It's a sign of the.
I'm just well, I don't have to deal with hurricanes anymore. I don't think Jeff either. I don't think you've ever had to live in a place with hurricanes, have you?
Me, no.
No, yeah.
Didn't Hugo go up through Charleston, Dunbar?
Maybe.
Usually
we got hit with one.
Usually by the time it gets in deep inland, it's more of a shitty windstorm. But hurricanes.
My parents are in Florida right now, and they just went through one.
The November, a very rare November hurricane.
Ian of Scotland.
Ian of Scotland paid a visit to Florida.
Yep. So speaking of falling rocks, it reminded me when I was a kid, my dad told me that he told me a story about this Indian that got lost. His name was Falling Rocks, and they searched for him. They never could find him, and that's why they put those signs up along the road: "Watch for falling rocks." To find this lost Indian. He told me that when I was a kid, and I probably believed it for a while.
I think that's a West Virginia thing because we had that same story.
Maybe it is true. And then poor Falling Rocks is out there, and everybody's like, everybody thinks it's like we could be finding Falling Rocks, but we all just think it's a joke.
Have you ever seen one? Hey, Jeff, have you ever seen one? I know you see the signs everywhere, but you ever seen a falling rock?
Never. I've seen rocks that have fallen, but never in the process. No.
No, never in the process.
The reason I would go up to Arkansas is my dad's best friend lived up there, and my dad's best friend was a delinquent, and all his friends up there were delinquents. And my dad's friend, so it was like a friend of my dad's friend. That's how I was around this man as a child. His name was Red Eagle. And he dressed up in like Indian regalia, just casually, like with the fat, like, John Redcorn on King of the Hill.
Yeah.
That was what he dressed up like. And I found out years later that he was a 100% white man. Like there was nothing Native American. He was just incredibly tanned and leathery and smoking. And I said, how did that happen? And so he was apparently once upon a time before he got into drugs. He was an anthropology grad student at the University of Arkansas. And there was a big effort to send the bones back to the reservations because they were like, it was kind of wrong to like take, these are like human remains, so we should take them back. And he was just part of that process of bringing those back. He met Indians, got really into drugs and the nature shit, and then became one of them. And then just started when I knew him, he was a drug dealer who also did time for poaching bears.
Wow.
So, but I just to this day, and his career was he framed pictures at the Hobby Lobby. But so do you think that process just happened so gradually that even Red Eagle didn't know it happened? Like that he just became a Native American? Because he looked apart. I mean, what the hell do I know? I was 9, but
it's like those Indians on Gunsmoke. They were all like Italian guys.
Yeah, the spaghetti westerns. They were the only ones dark enough to look convincing. Were like the Southern Italians down there.
Yeah, and all the 60s TV shows, they were all Jewish.
I believe the crying Indian is actually an Italian man.
Yeah. I think
Like
you're
the
right.
famous
Iron
one in the
Nose Cody?
commercial.
You talking about Iron Nose Cody?
Yeah.
Is that his? Oh, he had a name.
Yeah.
Oh, I just knew him as the Crying Indian.
I don't know. Gosh,
Looks like
you got me wanting to look that up.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Crying Indian commercial.
Who would
Crying Indian.
Who would go down the highway and just throw a whole bag of trash out the window of their car?
Right,
At an Indian's feet.
I forgot about that part of it. They did. They didn't even have the decency to like wait another mile marker to throw their trash. They were like right there at his feet.
I get it. If somebody's holding a sign that says "We'll work for food," throw some trash at them. Yes, knock yourself out. But
Okay, I'm looking at this guy.
Indian.
I'm looking at this guy, and I'm covering up. I'm covering up like the Indian chief regalia, and I could see an Italian. I could, let's see, but who is he? The ad that fooled the environmental movement.
Whoa.
Fooled you. Ha, look at that. We tricked y'all into caring about the environment. What is his name? Who was the Indian? Iron Eyes Cody. Oh. Well, that sounds like an Indian name. No, it's not. It's Cody. That's not a Native American name. Okay, he was an American actor of Italian descent who portrayed Native Americans, more than one. Native Americans. Let's see his. Wow, this guy's got quite the filmography. White Feather, Gun Fever, The Great Sioux Massacre, Nevada Smith. He played all kinds of characters, a real diverse set of Indian Copy Boy, Chief Yellowstone, Red Corn, Little Eagle, Indian After Firewater. That has to be like a verb. I'm sorry. I thought it was a character named Indian, like he was like, Dances with Wolves. Like my name was Indian After Firewater. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I feel duped now.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a single non-Indian role on here.
My whole
Standing Bear, Medicine Man, Santana.
I really thought we were keeping the Native Americans happy by not littering. Now,
there's a lot of, that's like all the terrible things that we did to the Native American, like the collective royal we of white people, exterminated some of them, put them on camps, took away their religion and their language. And then we're like, oh, that's what it is. We're throwing too much trash on the road. That's why they're crying. That's what made them sad. Oh, boy. How could I do this to them as I shove them on a reservation? I mean,
I really thought I was doing some good.
But not throwing a bag of trash going down the highway.
Well,
at the window of your car.
I would,
I'm gonna have to rethink this thing.
Yeah.
Hey, you think I could hit that Indian with my bag of trash?
I'm gonna have to throw some half-eaten hot dogs out the window from now on. There you go, pal. It's your land. What is it they used to call them on Deadwood Dirt Worshippers?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Here you go, pal. Worship this.
I had kind of hoped that when they changed the Washington Redskins name, which was a thing that needed to happen, it was like it was an antiquated name. It's like, but part of me kind of was like, he needs to go, oh, you want me to change it, huh? Okay. Well, and then change it to something even more offensive.
Yeah.
Like the Drunken Savages or
no, I'd go with that.
The Mindless Savages.
Just think of the merch. That'd be awesome.
And I am a Washington fan, so.
Oh, you are really? So, what did you think about that as a fan? Because, I'm not a fan of them, so I'm just kind of like, what do I give a shit? But it does seem a little just antiquated.
As I've always said, the free market will decide, and
FedEx kind of made that decision for them. So
and they decided, and so now I've embraced the Commanders. I mean, I've got the flag, I've got the
new name.
They're called the Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders.
The Commanders was like, I get it because it's the capital with the commander in chief. The Cleveland Indians becoming the Cleveland Guardians was such a missed opportunity because they could have been the Cleveland Spiders again.
Yeah.
And that would have been awesome. Because then you got to think merch. Like you would have people buying Cleveland Spiders shit that didn't even have anything to care about just because you could make some wicked ass spiders, like a spider pitching 4 balls at the same time, like all kinds of shit.
That'd be great.
Yeah, well, that would have been awesome.
There's so many people out there that love arachnids.
Yeah,
so
it would have been, and then they were like the Guardians. It's like, that's so lame. I'm sorry. It's lame.
That's just because it sounds like the Indians has the last few letters.
Is that it? Is that
Guardians, Indians?
But Guardian also doesn't invoke like victory. Like, to me, it's like, I'm the Guardian. Like, that's defensive. Like, I'm not going to go for it. I'm just going to make sure everything's good. Everything's like, it's like, you need to be like Predator, the animals. The Redskins, show them that you're.
I do know people that are Redskins fans, and they just, they just like, oh, it's just a horrible name. It's a horrible name. And I'm getting hassled by folks going, I can't believe you bought into it already. It's like, look, man, there's nothing I can do.
It's like,
as soon as I came out of the birth canal, I was handed a hat and a T-shirt.
That's how I felt with the Astros. That's how I felt with the Astros with the trash can scandal. I was like, my dad was a fan of them when they were the Colt 45s, like I'm not going to just change my loyalty because of one bad, period of the team's history.
Why didn't they change their name to the Malt Liquor Bulls?
I do think Colt 45 is fucking awesome. I think it is a fucking sweet name. 2 problems with it. It wouldn't have lasted anyway because, they got rid of bullets. They got rid of the other names and stuff. But also it is kind of a copyright infringement, right? Like, you don't own the term Colt 45. Colt Manufacturing does. But other than that, I'm like, because there was even a period of time where you couldn't get Colt 45s. The Astros didn't sell it anymore.
Really?
Because they didn't want, or you could get it, but it didn't have guns on it. It would say like the Colt 45s, but it didn't have like the pistol with the smoke on it. And then enough people bitch that now you can. But that thing, I tried to buy one at a game this summer. It's like $65 for a hat,
Is the Colt 45s direct? Are the Astros a direct descendant of the Colt 45s?
They are the Colt 45s. The first 3 years of the Astros season, they were the Colt 45s.
Huh. Okay.
And it's actually the other way around. The Astros got their name from the Astrodome.
Right.
Then
I was thinking
I'd always thought it was the other way around.
Okay.
Well, I got a question for Jeff. Jeff.
Sure. Yeah.
How are you doing without baseball?
I'm struggling.
Oh shit, dude, it's only been like 2 weeks. This is the part where you shouldn't even be struggling yet.
No, I'm struggling. I read all this stuff. Everything. There's a bunch of clickbait out there about I'm
free agency.
Yeah, just every time I get one of these notifications on my phone, I think it's like some real news, and it's just like
someone's got a hangnail.
Yeah. So I'm desperate, and I'm for any kind of news in the off season. But the Reds aren't going to do anything.
You don't think the Reds are going to land Aaron Judge? You don't think they're going to be the ones?
Maybe Judge Ito.
Are the Reds one of those teams where Judge gets paid more than the entire roster? Or are they one of those teams right now? Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're not. They have a stacked farm system, so they're just going to run their youngsters out there and see what happens.
Well,
yeah, but they have Votto. I mean, they're still paying him a bunch of money. They got one more year of him, so it's going to be Joey Votto, who's like 40, something like that, and a whole bunch of kids. So, speaking of baseball, the town where I'm from, Charleston, West Virginia, they have a baseball team called the Charleston Dirty Birds.
I did not know that, and that is awesome.
They're an independent league.
Okay, so it's not even like a...
Yeah. The Charleston Dirty Birds.
What is the mascot? Like the logo? Like, hold on, let me look it up. I want to see. I'm imagining like a I'm imagining like a seagull smoking a cigarette.
Didn't they have a Sally League team there for a while?
Oh, Dirty Birds, like a minor. Okay. Dusty the Dirty Bird.
When I was a kid, they had the Charleston Charlies. They were AAA farm team of the Pirates for all those years. That's where I met all those baseball players, those retired guys like Mickey Mantle and all those guys. Almost every one of them were rude.
Yeah, Mickey Mantle was an asshole, though, outside of just how he treated fans. I think he was an asshole to everybody he
Yeah, he was drunk all the time.
Well, wasn't Ty Cobb the one who beat up a guy without a hand or something like that? No, not Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb, because not Cy Young. Cy Young is the pitcher. Ty Cobb was like, it was a guy who had lost his like fingers in an industrial accident, and he was talking, and he came and like started beating him up in the audience, and everyone was like, hey, you're hitting on a guy who can't do anything about it. And he's like, well, I'm Ty Cobb,
He was a very passionate man.
Yeah, that was what they used to call it. That's what they used to call it back then. Competitive edge and passion.
That's right. No,
we desperately
need struggling with no baseball.
No. See, I don't know how you do it because I follow the NBA, so it kind of seamless for me. Just kind of you get a little bit of that the all-star break in baseball, but so you don't have anything to watch until
I'm 100% baseball. Yeah.
Never. You're one of those spring training guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have an app on my phone that tells me how many days till spring training starts.
I saw a thing where people were gambling on spring training games, and that's where I was like, you have a problem. That's where it's like, this is too much,
Yeah.
Now, see, my main sport, it didn't start up again until, February? So,
NASCAR?
3 months off. Yeah, I'm a huge NASCAR fan.
What sport is? Oh, NASCAR. I guess I didn't think about that. Did they have an off season?
Yeah, it's about 3 months, and they ended a little bit sooner this year. So it's kind of like usually you have like the last
Everybody
race.
Was super fast. Everybody just was super fast this year.
Yeah, they just got it over with. But it's just
we don't even have to run the last race, guys. Everybody, you guys did so good.
But
you ever go to the Pocono race up here?
I have never been. Never been. It's always been a dream of mine. I've told the wife, I said, look, we win the huge lottery. We're getting a luxury RV. We're hitting every track. We're going to every damn race of the season. And, she's thankful that we've not hit the lottery. And, but I would like to hit every track.
Yeah.
I drove by the Talladega Nights one I was just driving through Alabama or Georgia. What state was I in? I was driving through the South, and I drove by it, and I got to say, I never laid eyes on, well, that's a big motherfucker. Like, those tracks are huge. Like, I guess I thought it was, when you think of a circular track, you think of like one for around like a football field.
Well, if you're thinking Talladega, that's
a full mile. Yeah. It was. Oh, that's a 2.5 mile. Yeah, like that explained. Yeah, that thing was
2.6 actually, if I may get technical as a fan.
Wow.
No, I don't follow racing, but I could definitely. I have an appreciation for the ability to maintain control of that thing going 200 miles an hour around those turns. That's
that's the funny thing. But you hear people say something like, "What happened in there?" It's like, "Well, I got hit in the rear end, it slid me sideways, and then I lost control."
Yeah, he was.
It's like, I had a handle on it and everything. Then I lost control.
Yeah, it was just that it all went really haywire. I remember when Jeff Earnhardt died. I'm sorry, Jeff Earnhardt. Oh my God, Dale Earnhardt died. I remember just being like, I was I think about 10 when that happened, and I guess it didn't comprehend to me that a competitor could die in the event you were watching. But anyway, I guess anytime
somebody can go.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened in Major League Baseball with as hard as those dudes get those balls coming off, with how many times that the pitchers or the infieldmen catch those real fast line drives. You'd think just statistically one of them would slip through and get them right in the
temple,
right in the forehead or the temple or somewhere and just lights out,
It's true.
Yeah, but there's, unlike NASCAR, there's no way to monetize it with a sponsor.
Oh, they absolutely can. Oh, you mean somebody getting hit with the ball being
killed?
Or they do that, when you watch baseball where they're just like the first time there's a stolen base, they're like, that was, Painters R Us stolen base of the game. It's like it's all sponsored, but it's like, that was the drive of the the intentional bean. If I owned a bean company, I would sponsor for every baseball team that if anytime somebody intentionally got drilled it would show my bean company and say that was our bean. You know, that intentional hit was brought to you in part by Zipp's Bean Company. You know, I don't think they would allow that at all.
The Bush's bean brainer of the day.
That's funny. Another thing with my stepdad was we were at a I think it was the same family reunion as the Cracker Barrel thing. He was on one that whole trip. He thought we were all going to be super excited to go to like the major Bush's Beans factory in the middle of Tennessee. And exactly nobody wanted to go with him. And he was like mad about it because we were kind of dismissive. We were like, why would, if I had to pick between hanging out at the lake and going to the bean factory. And so he went and he bought everything you could buy in the souvenir place. He had a shirt, a hat, all kinds of shit. And he was like, I loved it. It was great. You guys missed out. It was like, he's like, we had a blast at the bean factory. And I was like, you are a petty man, you know?
He's like,
the gas was free.
Exactly. He's like,
do you think they do at the end, like at the beer, you know, you get like a free beer or two at the end of you get like a 3 bean salad for free. You get like a big old donkey sack full of beans.
He comes in waving a bean pennant that he bought from the merch table.
I wish. I think my sister has it because my mom had a bunch of the bean crap still. Anyway, we are. I'm starting to get long on this one. So, Jeff, do we have any messages?
Yeah, how are we going to play them?
How are we going to play them? Well, I think you should just introduce the Ian one because it was just him wishing you. Yeah. Well, actually, let's just put it right here.
Hey, Jeff, it's Ian in Scotland. Happy 300th. Yeah, thanks for doing all this, these shows, Jeff. You're a real tonic, bringing laughter into my life. And here's to 300 more. Okay, thanks very much, man. Bye.
Thanks, Ian. I appreciate that. Call back anytime. This next one is from Patrick, right?
Yes.
Hey, Jeff, this is Patrick. First off, congratulations on 300 episodes. Pretty cool. Look forward to maybe 300 more. So congratulations on that. I heard you talking about Wussy at that not sleep deprivation, but the sensory deprivation place where you go and you sit in the tank. And just for the hell of it, I checked it out. And we got one here in town. And I thought it might be kind of neat. So at some point when I get a minute, I'm going to go do it and check it out. If you would like, I'll check back with a report. Sounded kind of like a neat thing to do. But I got a question. I know you're a music fan, music buff. Have you ever tried to play a musical instrument or maybe tried to play the guitar or anything? I've been reading the Surf Report for a long time, and you never say anything about it, so I guess it's a big fat no. I tried to play guitar. I took some lessons, but man, I could play like, Paranoid or Smells Like Teen Spirit, but I never could get my fat fingers to move fast enough. So anyway, like I said, congratulations on 300 episodes. Look forward to 300 more. Keep it up. See ya.
When I went to see a band recently, it was in one of those spas where they have sensory deprivation tanks. Believe it or not, they sold 40 tickets to this thing, and it was in a spa in Philadelphia. And the woman came out and gave a little talk about her business, and it sounded pretty intriguing. That's where he's talking about. That's why he mentioned that in the call. But so you get in water that's loaded with Epsom salts, so you don't sink. You float in there. You're in the complete dark, in the complete quiet, and the water is the exact same temperature as your body, and it feels like you're floating in space. And you're in there for 90 minutes, and it's
90 minutes.
Supposed to clear your head, and it costs like $80 a float.
That's not too bad.
Is this something you would do?
Oh, I would try that out. Sure, I might go insane. You may have to let me out of it. Yeah. I may, I just feel like it'd be one of those like Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe things where it's like I'm gonna fall and do I'm gonna come out a different place,
different portal,
a different world.
90 minutes.
90 minutes.
I think I just fall asleep. Like that would be my concern, was after about 5 minutes of total silence and dark, I fall asleep when that happens to me. So
she did like a 10-minute spiel on it. She said your brain like basically reboots because there's no stimulus at all. Stimuli, I guess.
Huh.
And your brain you come out of it fully refreshed.
I feel like if you were on the outside of it, you would just hear a muffled me screaming the Oscar Mayer Wiener song to kill time.
Or you'd be in there going meow 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 meow.
Yeah,
meow,
like
meow.
no, I feel like it would be an earthquake. My pod's gonna fall into the into the basement, and I'll be down there for 30 years. They're gonna find my salted corpse, preserved salted body in there.
Well, see, I don't know if you remember that film Altered States. I think that was the kind of reaction I'd have if I was in there for 90 minutes. It's like, all the little flashbacks and everything. I don't know if you ever seen the film.
No.
Gosh.
Sorry.
It's a popular movie.
I'm just going to say, for $80, you can get your hands on some pretty good drugs for $80 if you're looking to, have your mind blown.
Right.
If you need to get that shit rebooted, I get you in touch with a guy. Well, I did for at NRQ. We had a guy on who
maybe Red Eagle's got some.
No, I had a guy on NRQ who he was a Houston podcaster, and I'd met him at something, but he had gone down to like Peru to actually go with the tribe to do that ayahuasca stuff, which is like DMT mixed with peyote or something. It's fucking like he said that when he went to it, he thought it was going to be like, in a mud hut, but he said it was like a medical facility, and they had like an actual doctor screen him before it and stuff. And I said, well, was it worth it? And he said, it's the kind of drug that like when movies make you think that you're going to like a different place and walking around, that's what he felt like. He felt like he had been transported physically into a place that he could like actually touch and interact with stuff. And I was like, that's maybe a bit too much.
That's not for me.
No, that's not for you at all, Jeff. I don't think you would enjoy that.
Is good enough.
I don't even think you would enjoy being on weed, Jeff.
No.
You'd be out there worried the damn cops were going to arrest you or something. You'd be worried you weren't going to be home in time for curfew with your parents.
Crying.
But Jeff, you'd get a new respect for Pink Floyd.
Probably, yeah.
That's true.
I know you hate them, but
Oh, really? You don't like Pink Floyd?
Good.
No.
What do you? No, I'm not like. I wouldn't say that I'm a Pink Floyd fan, but I don't dislike them. What do you not like about them, Jeff? Too much peace.
Pretentious. Kind of pretentious. Yeah.
You see, but that's one of those things where I wonder, it's kind of like with the Tool, where it's like, are they pretentious or are the fans of them pretentious? True. Because
sort of like the
Tool, some of the stuff you hear the fans of Tool say, you're kind of like, all right, I don't think they mean for any of this.
Yeah, like Leonard Skinner too. Like Leonard Skinner was a good band, but you don't want to be associated with their fans.
Bummer about that plane crash, Jeff, did I send you that thing? You may have known it, but with it was John Lennon and Chuck Berry on TV together, and Yoko Ono.
I love that.
You've seen that. Yeah. And Yoko Ono does it. She starts doing that wail, like some kind of screech. Yes, yeah. And Chuck Berry looks around like, and if you look, you could tell it. I think he thinks that there's a technical problem. I think that's what he thinks. Like, oh shit, like something went wrong with the speaker, and then he's like, "The fuck is this shit?"
His eyes are bugged out. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I used to be in a mixed group tape swapper thing, and a buddy of mine made a mixtape, and on the end of it, he put her wailing around with John Lennon, and they were jamming with Frank Zappa, and he put that on the end of the tape just to take up the rest of the space. And as he was doing it, he stepped outside, and below him were some Japanese college students, and they were just laughing their asses. I thought that was just hysterical. It's like, yeah, they knew exactly who that woman was wailing about.
I just think about how intolerable she had to have been. I think that's especially men, we've all had to deal with your friend having some girlfriend or wife that's annoying, or your cousin marries someone that's annoying. I get it. But she just seemed so unbearable.
She must have been hell in a sack. That's all I got to say.
That's it. It must have been some good. Yeah. Well, I don't want to say that, but I'll get Jeff K canceled here.
And he always had her with him. Like every time they had a session, she was.
That's what I'm saying. That would had to be like for somebody like Paul McCartney. He had to want to pull his fucking hair out dealing with that. That had to be absolutely terrible.
She's always sitting in the background with no expression on her face. Terrifying.
Yeah, and her music sucks. That's the other thing that's important about it. If you're going to be that intolerable, you got to have some good jams.
Patrick also asked us if we ever played a musical instrument, tried to play musical instruments. Eugene, have you ever played a musical instrument?
Yeah, I thought I don't know if you ever saw the band I was in, but
Tipper Gore, is that what it was?
The what? Tipper Gore?
I worked with them.
Tipper Gore.
I had already kind of retired from the business from that. But I played in various bands. Kraken was one of them with 3 Ks.
Ooh.
We didn't put much thought into that name there.
That was bad. That was
in hindsight, it's like cracking your knuckles, but instead of C,
that's not how that was. Oh, and 3 of them. That's the.
But yeah, I play. I dabble in the guitar. I play the bass, but that's about it, really.
I'm trying to think of some fake Kraken songs that you like. The white man marches on. It's like everybody thought we were racist. It's just
all I can say is that the first time out, we won a battle of the bands, and we had a week to prepare for it. And because our drummer got us into it and forced us all into it, because you got a bunch of people that okay, this band is a reason to drink. So then you have a drummer who's serious and has actually gone out and become semi-famous. And so he gets us all together and he's like, we can do this. We can do this. And so we did it. So
when you always introduced yourself, you go, we're cracking with 3 Ks, but we're not like we're not like those people.
But the thing was, it's like that's the one championship I can say, like, oh yeah, I've won a championship somehow, some way. Yeah, I got 5 hours studio time that we never cashed in.
Oh,
no, man.
Because the band disintegrated after that.
Oh, now you're making me want to make a documentary covering Kraken with 3 Ks. The rise and fall of Kraken.
And then I tried to get Jeff K to get into a band with his idea, Lint Donkey.
Wait, Jeff, what instruments do you play?
I don't play any.
Oh, you don't play any? Okay.
I play the radio.
Well, he was going to be the singer in Lint Donkey.
Lint
Do you remember that name?
Donkey.
Oh, yeah.
What is a lint donkey?
That was the name of my band.
Yeah, but what is a lint donkey? Like,
well, it's open to interpretation. Each person has their own view.
I like it. Is it lint like dryer lint or like Catholic lint?
Like
they were very flammable. Lint. Could have been very flammable. Yeah.
I never played a single instrument ever. Never even tried. Part of it is my mother was not going to come home from a long day of work and listen to a child poorly play an instrument. So I suspect that heavily that had something to do with it. I guess the recorder in like 4th grade, I remember that. That's why I had the theory, because I remember I had to play the recorder behind the garage because my mom was like, I'm just not listening to it.
You really had to go out in the yard to do it?
Yep. I had to go see. And that's now that I'm saying this all out loud, that's probably because I associated playing an instrument with everybody not wanting to be around me and having to sit out with the doghouse and behind the garage. Now that, never played any instruments, never sang or anything.
No. My oldest boy is real good. He's a real good guitarist. He plays really well, but I don't have that talent. You have to do 2 things at the same time with both.
Oh, God. Well, that and the patience, the persistence to do music.
I can't do that.
I saved a saxophone player's life. I think that counts as my contribution to music.
That's right, to the musical
Oh,
world.
that would be.
Yeah, you can put yourself in the win section for that.
But yes, it was. You were asking earlier if I did mouth to mouth. I did not, because they teach you, if you're listening to this and you didn't know, you're not supposed to do mouth to mouth anymore for CPR, just chest compressions, which is great because this guy, not to be a little graphic, his face had turned like blue and purple, and he was foaming and like throwing up at the mouth, and his eyes were rolled back and bugging. And I was like, I think you might just be taking this L, my friend. I don't know if I could touch your lips with my lips right now. Like, if I had to do it, I maybe, but I mean, it was like, even in the crisis of the moment, I was thinking, I don't want to touch that man's lips. Like,
Good Lord.
yes.
And he was out there the next day.
A week later. That was, what is today? Monday. This was a week from yesterday. So 8 days later, he's back out there playing the saxophone in the parking lot at Taco Bell.
Yeah, once you had a taste of that showbiz bug, you just got to get back out there.
The show
everyone was watching me while I was rolling around on the ground. I was a star for the first time in my life. So he's like,
I had a crowd, damn it.
oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. I'm so sad. Anyway,
Yeah.
Congratulations on 300 episodes, Jeff. I wanted to say that I'm happy I've been able to go along for the ride. It's great that we just happened to meet on Fiverr.
Yeah, it's been great.
Cross paths on Fiverr. And
Eugene, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So when does the roast begin? Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
I had kind of thought about that, but Jeff K or Jeff's are, I always say Jeff K for some reason, like both, like but I think Jeff's got enough anxiety whenever he has to deal with a guest. I didn't want to throw that at him too, by also making him self-conscious about things.
Yeah,
so
I don't know if I can handle that.
And before
we could do an intervention. We could say,
And before we leave, I gotta say my favorite Jeff K story. We were going to this guy's house, Cam. He lived on a place in Greensboro, on Bryce Street in Greensboro. He lived in a house with 12 other college students.
Yeah.
And so apparently he's down to 2 other roommates in the house. So he was going to have us over one Sunday evening because we would close down at 7:00. So we all get there and everybody's got their beer in their hand and everybody's hanging out, chilling and everything. But Jeff K, he's there and all of a sudden he just leaves.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what the hell? Where did Jeff go? And then Cam comes walking out and he's like, is Jeff okay? What's going on? And Cam's getting everybody all worked up. And then we're all worked up like, who the hell pissed Jeff K off? What happened here? And then it's like Jeff took a lap around the block and showed back up, and everybody was like, "What the hell?" Remember that at all, Jeff?
I do, sort of. I don't know what was going on. I think
where'd you go?
Around the block.
You were just drunk. You just did some drunk swaggering.
I just went around the block and came back.
I gotta go out for my evening swagger.
It's like he was there and fine and enjoying the evening, and then all of a sudden he just turned around and walked down the little sidewalk, got to his Chevy Love truck, and drove off.
That's right.
At least he didn't walk out into the woods. At least he didn't just go out into the forest and just never come back.
I sort of remember that. That was a rough night.
I just thought it was hysterical. It was like, man, it's like you knew how to work the crowd. But you got them all interested. Like, where the hell is Jeff K? What happened to Jeff K? Jeff K. Everybody's Jeff K. And then all of a sudden you go rolling up. And you get back out like everything's fine. That shit was hilarious. I was bowled over.
We had a lot of fun. That was a great job. Peaches Records.
Yeah.
Good times.
I think of it fondly.
How many years do you work there?
I worked there 6 years.
Yeah.
Man, record stores aren't even they're not even a thing anymore.
Oh, they are. But there's
like vinyl ones.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And so more for the vinyl collector, because I remember this was a couple of years ago. I went in to get a CD for somebody for a Secret Santa or something, and I went to Best Buy and I was blown away that they had done away with even organizing it by genre.
Yeah.
It was all the CDs in a row, A to Z mixed together, and it was like, remember Best Buy? Like I remember that was a huge section, I mean, it makes sense, but now you go, they don't even have it. There's, I guess, such a little market for CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vinyl's the thing. I don't really get it, but because
I've listened to a couple friends who have them, and I mean, maybe it's because I'm drunk or high, but like, it does sound nice, but I'm also not an audiophile. I don't think I could tell the difference enough on a technical level, but people seem to enjoy collecting them.
They're very expensive.
Very expensive.
And I grew up with them, so it's not something I've never experienced before,
Yeah, I mean, I've got 8,000 of them laying around, but I never play them.
No.
They're just kind of like in storage. That's it. And thank you again for having me on. I didn't know what to expect with this, and I'm sorry for the delay.
I didn't either. This is the first time he's ever had more than one guest on, so it's
gone well, I think.
But anyway, I am getting kicked out of the office here at the bottom of the hour, so we got to start wrapping this up. But I do appreciate you letting us be on for 300. Here's to 300 more.
Hey, Jeff, thank you so much for having me. And as you know, I've kind of, us being bloggers, I kind of took the idea, the traffic was going down, and said, I ought to do the podcast thing. And then I found your podcast, and then thank you for just letting me completely rip off your idea and take your blueprint and doing something with it. So I appreciate it. It's fun. It's a nice creative outlet. I'm sure you probably feel the same way, both of you guys, with your podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But again, thank you, especially for the laughs and everything. And so 300, man, that's quite a deal. So thank you for having me on it. That's a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody listen to the Wheeler's Dog podcast. It's really good. And,
thank you.
And a few more episodes of
so if you want to listen, you want to listen to No Redeeming Qualities. Content still comes out on Wednesday mornings. You can find it at nrqpodcast.com. In a nutshell, the show is I'm actually going to stop my own show, but keep doing the West Virginia Surf Report. We're just ready to focus on other stuff, and but what we're doing is we've only got like 6 episodes left till we hit 250. We're doing a whole bunch of side stuff to have everybody who's been on the show come back. I just got an update that I got another Bluetooth connected here. So anyway, just saying that we're going to be ended sometime next spring, but we're doing kind of like a grand finale, and we're having all the people that we've had on the show on, and we're just kind of ready to move on. I'm going to focus on my writing and my voice work, and but I'm still doing the West Virginia Surf Report. So
excellent.
Yeah, we always be doing that.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello, world.
All right. Once again, I want to thank you guys. Thanks for Eugene. Thanks to Eugene, I should say. If you want to listen to his podcast, I think you should. I mean, I would recommend it. Wheeler's Dog is the name of his podcast. It's available everywhere. I will link to it in the show notes, of course. And producer Zipp, co-host of the No Redeeming Qualities podcast, also great. Both those shows are really funny, genuinely funny. I'm not even kidding. I'm not just saying that to be nice. Both those shows are awesome. So I'll link to both of them in the show notes. So check them out. Thank you guys for coming on. I thought it was fun. I mean, I don't know. Like I say, it's outside my comfort zone. It's not really. I don't know. I feel like I don't do well. I don't really do all that well in that kind of setting, but it feels like I might be getting better. We'll see. We'll see. Sometimes I do those kinds of things, and afterwards I'm like, oh God, why did I agree to do that? Why? What did I do? Why do I do things like this? But I don't feel that way this time. I feel like it went pretty well. So anyway, and there's so much material. Maybe we'll, like Zipp said, we'll just cobble together some of the the extra, the stuff that's didn't make it in this episode, and do the Patreon episode. So we'll see how it goes. Speaking of Patreon, if you want to hear those special bonus episodes for patrons only, you can do it. You can do it by going to patreon.com. It's Patreon, patreon.com/Jeff K. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get an extra episode every week. So if you want to double down on the Surf Report and just get 2 episodes a week instead of a measly one, it's easy to do. Patreon.com/Jeff K. Head on over there right now. And surfreportpod.com is the website where we have all kinds of, bonus material. Well, it's like photographs and, support materials. It's a value-added service. So, links to stuff and pictures that go along with whatever I talked about, and that kind of stuff. So you can check that out too. Surfreportpod.com. I think that's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good website. In fact, I've had some trouble with my websites. Next time I get into my comfort zone and I want to start bitching, I got some bitches about that. My websites are four of my websites were down for 36 hours. Including Surf Report Pod. Irritating. Don't get me started. Also, the $5 scratch-off project, never again. That thing's behind. I need to get it updated. I'll update it tonight. I haven't written down in my notebook what I did, but I haven't put it in the website. It's not going well, and I would not recommend that at all. That's a sucker's bet, that scratch-off bullshit. No way. They can take that and pack it deep and on a slant. No way. So after the 52 weeks are up, I'm never buying another one as long as I live. Unless I win $20,000 between now and the end. And then I'll be like, this is the greatest thing ever. I don't know why everybody's not doing scratch-offs like all the time. But as I sit here today, bullshit, crap, sucker's bet, no way. All right. We're at the end of this thing. Now we start our second 300. Excited to start. And we'll see. I don't know what the next one, the Patreon episode's coming up. We'll see. Maybe it'll be some of the stuff that was cut out of this one. Because there's a lot of good stuff in there. I thought it went really well. So anyway, until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side, I hope you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see ya. Bye.
Did CPR on a sax man last week.
A what?